That hurt.
I'm tuned in like crazy, and I'm pretending like I know what they're doing, and I'm,
Be articulate and intelligent.
Greg's a bitch. That's all.
I find them offensive as hell.
I've never been a fan.
Yeah, fuck that.
Ooh, terrible! Bad! Not bad! Oh, pretty good. Okay, decent, fair, great. I loved it.
This sucks.
Yeah, you really gotta wonder how the stuff gets made.
Welcome to the Straight Red Card. I'm really hoping that clip of John Brooks is what's holding him off the team, Brett. I'm really concerned about that. Because it's not real, Greg.
It is.
It's not real.
Everything on there is real. Even the fucking Muppets. I like the fact that we don't monetize ourselves. We don't care if we cuss at the very first 2 seconds.
No, we just gave it up. Anyhow, make sure you like and subscribe and share it with your grandma. These things are all important.
That's what Berlin said.
Like, comma, you turds. Commas are important in sentences, so do use them when necessary. Yes. Chris Gary says, laughing my ass out. What a great thumbnail. Greg looks like he took a big sniff of ass. Yeah. Well, I don't know. We've all smelled farts. That's kind of like taking a big sniff of ass, isn't it? It's coming straight from the sphincter.
Mm-hmm.
That reminds me. How do bears get through hibernation? You know what they have, Brett? So they don't.
Hold on.
They don't poop all over themselves.
What do they have?
They have a thing called the tappin. Covers the butthole while they sleep.
Derek, I was expecting a dad joke, and you come at me with science.
I think it's called the tappin.
So you're saying the bear has a butt plug.
Yeah, it's kind of like a body part butt plug. Yeah, it's self butt plug. Yes.
Well, Jonathan Miller says, substrate red card.
What's up is, I guess, what's always up. The turd in the background. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Straight Red Card. Almost started that in my own voice. The only soccer show that discusses incest with your stepsister. Well, stepsister. Oh, well, he had it. Okay. My wife fucks her stepbrother more than me. Her stepsister too. Damn.
Man, brother and sister both tapping on that faucet, huh?
Yeah. You went back to the word tapping, did you?
Yeah. It's in my head now.
I learned a new word this week.
Oh.
Absquatulate. Absquatulate. It's a word.
You know I don't speak Spanish and English, please.
It means to exit an area quickly. She absquatulated from the room.
I'm just saying it's not very quickly when I stutter and fuck up the word as I'm leaving the room. I'm Sasquatching out of here, bitches.
Yeah, the word should not be longer than the action that it explains. That
what happened to Derek? He just.
I learned another one this weekend too, or this week. Umbiferous. That's anything that shades you.
Umbiferous.
Umbiferous. UMB. Umbiferous. UMB, like an umbrella, right?
Okay.
So the word is called umbiferous, and that's anything that provides you shade, like a canopy over the streets, right?
Your hand?
A canopy
is
your hand can, like this. Your hand's being umbiferous. Just a word you guys can use in casual conversation.
What you guys don't realize is Derek has the day of the word toilet paper in his room.
No, I'm responsible.
It's not in the bathroom, guys. It's in his room.
I'm responsible at work for coming up with the new word of the week each week and putting it up on my board. So when people go by, they're like, what's the word of the week? Right. And the first one that I shared with them that no one in the office had ever heard before, but you know it, Brett, is jocularity. And they're like, whoa, that sounds really bad. It sounds like a bad word. I'm like, no, it just means being happy. Don't you
because of said bad word.
I think they were thinking of other kind of things that sound like that, but aren't really the same thing. By the way, did you hear about poop on the plane?
Yes, I did, but hold on. Give me 1 second because I want to pull up the bingo cards before we go over too much shenaniganry, okay?
You mean diarrhea?
I should in fact pull the bingo cards immediately after we do the turds comments.
Yeah.
Like we waste some good comments here.
Right.
All right. Here's card number 1. Berlin picked this one. I counted 13 to 15 guarantees on this card. We're talking about a 5x5, so 25. Yeah. 2.
Is
I saw something
umbiferous on any of those?
No, but we alluded to jerking off and stepsister, so there's 2 at least in this one.
Doesn't absquatulate sound kind of a little dirty though?
I think all long words that have a simple meaning definitely sounds dirty.
My stepsister and I,
we're good.
My stepsister and I were caught absquatulating.
That's not even describing what you were doing before you left the room.
You know what? A word like that, it should have more action around it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
It should be like that. Should describe shitting in the woods. We ran out of toilet paper, and so we had to absquatulate right out there under the trees with used leaves.
All we had was pine cones.
Pine cones. Surely you could find some leaves. Come on.
It's between pine cones and the needles. Ouch.
Surely there's a leaf somewhere, unless it's fall. No, if it's fall, there's leaves all over the place, right? All on the ground. Why is Cartoon Brett wearing a Kentucky hat? That's what my mom asked. But you all know, because you've been to the show for a while, that it's not Kentucky. And if you look at my hat, what does it have on it? If you could zoom in.
I can't zoom in.
I know. Woo! It has... let me see.
No, wrong solo.
Our former sponsors. Sorry, I don't have it around anymore.
Damn, can't do it, guys.
Vaseline. But KY sponsored for a while as well. So what the fudge?
There you go. Now we can see. This is Vaseline right there.
There you go. Right there.
I do a little work to get that one working out.
But it's funny. My mom asked, and I did not explain it to her. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know that Brett was a Kentucky fan." I'm like, he isn't.
You didn't want to tell your mom that we talked about sexual lube on the channel? Why? Couldn't imagine how awkward that conversation might have been.
I didn't want to bring it up. You know,
I was going to say that doesn't sound like a conversation I'd expect you having with your mom.
No, my mom wouldn't get the joke anyhow. She wouldn't know why I would find that funny.
She'd be like, "Why do you got to add lube? You're already pre-lubed, right?" And you're just like, "Mom, no."
No, that was the criticism in one of our comment sections once. Remember? Of course, these two fuckers, they've never been laid in their life. Or what they have, they couldn't get the pussy wet, so they had to use the lube. Well, dude, we were never saying it was for the pussy. All right?
Even if it was.
Well, never in my case. So, just saying. All right. So, yeah, poop on a plane. You heard about that then?
I have, yes.
Okay.
I've seen the after effect, the hazmat sets, things that were all set up around it.
Yeah. Too many goddamn diarrhea on this plane. Something like snakes on a plane, but it's shit. Yeah, and they had to turn around from Barcelona and go back to fucking Atlanta. Really? You couldn't just wipe it down with some bounty or something?
So they had to turn around to Barcelona from Atlanta, like
they were already 2.5 hours to Barcelona. They turned the fucking plane around and went back to Atlanta.
Well, at that point, it's probably a distance thing. They're probably like, well, we're still like 3 hours away from Barcelona, 2 hours back to Atlanta. Let's go back to Atlanta. And people are like, I don't care. Just get me the fuck out of here. Opening the door.
It really couldn't have been that bad. Get some bounty, clean it up, use some water, and then I don't know who's going to clean it up. Probably not the guy that should.
That air is circulated throughout the cabin, which means somebody rips ass at the front. You're sniffing it in the back.
Well, go to lower altitude and roll down the windows. I don't know what
down the windows. I just imagine just like an old car, the windows just
fly at 8,000 feet and roll down those fucking windows and air that puppy out. Yeah, that must have been really gross. I'm glad I wasn't on that fucking plane. Also,
it's from Atlanta. Never mind. That's gonna make the joke. Like, you know how they always say, like, when you go to Mexico, don't drink the water.
Well, yeah.
Like, man, does Spain suffer the same thing that Mexico has in their drinking water? But then I was like, nah, crap, it's coming from Atlanta. Does Atlanta have the same issue that Mexico has with its drinking water?
Dude, nobody else on that plane was shitting. So, I mean, he's got a serious problem, or she. I don't know if it was a dude or a woman. But yeah, I mean, if you got that big of a problem, you got to be prepared. You got to hit the fucking head, man. You got to take that's got to go in the toilet, not all over yourself and all over the fucking plane.
Eyewitnesses described it as a fire hose.
What did he do? Drop down his drawers and just bend over and just start fucking, letting it spray all over the cabin?
Maybe.
Okay, that's a little weird. Then he probably should have been arrested on his return back then, because that is a biohazard. If he's just
but if it was done on international water, can it be criminalized for that?
I don't know, but I think bending over and hosing people with your diarrhea could be considered some sort of offense, at least a misdemeanor class C. Maybe getting close to a felony, actually.
You'd almost have to check out the pirate code at that point with being on international water.
You'd be over international water, but not in it. I don't know.
Fair.
So anyhow, that's poop on a plane. That guy from the
motherfucking poops on the
motherfucking plane. The 70s guy from the 70s show.
Yes.
30 years. I didn't read
1 year for each second.
That he did what? I don't know what he did.
Apparently raped 2 girls.
No fun.
Back in 2000, yeah.
2000?
In the year 2000.
That's wow. So why did he need to do that? What is he, stupid? He was a fucking TV star.
Why did Bill Cosby drug rape a bunch of people?
Why? Because by that time in his life, he was really ugly, but he still could have hired.
You have money. Come on, you can overcome ugliness with money. Come on.
Well, he could have hired. There are plenty of women who would have sucked his cock and balls for money. You're right.
Yeah.
So this doesn't make any sense at all. Any sense. So I guess it's a matter of power then. It's not just the sex part, because it was just the sex
I am hired on that 70s show. I can do whatever I want.
I mean, hey, I should toast to myself because me and Jenny Cush are hanging out tonight. So
hey-o.
First time in probably 6 months, Brett?
Mm-hmm. Something like that, yeah.
So we'll see if that equals an improvement in my verbal skills. By the way, I'm drinking a triple caramel. It's the last one in the fridge. It is one of the best beers in the world, 96 out of 100 on Beer Advocate, and I would describe it as distinctly potable. And yes, it's expensive, but it's certainly worth the 4 beers that you get in the $23 4-pack, because you sip it. It's not one of those guzzle beers. It's not a beer you're gonna go, come home from a jog and guzzle a light beer down. This is enjoy it with your meal. Enjoy it when you're on a show, doing a show. Jonathan Miller, wouldn't it still be rape if you're paying someone to have sex? No, it's not. That's called prostitution. That's somebody doing a job. It's actually legal in certain states and countries to be a prostitute and get paid to do that it's one of the oldest professions in the world, by the way, as well.
You ever watch the TV show Rome?
I watched some of it, but I couldn't get through it. Past 2 or 3 episodes.
A good show, but whatever.
I had a lot going on.
There's a point in the show where the main character is kind of like in a dark time of his life, and he's running a very seedy portion of Rome. One of his rival captains, if you will, come up and says, "Hey, I want justice. One of your men forced my nephew to suck his dick." Mm-hmm. He's like, "Well, do you know how he did it?" Yeah, and he paid him a whatever it is, whatever a Roman coin was at the time.
Oh, lira.
I don't know. I was going to go a whole different slew of different amount of money at that point, but
Caesar head.
But he's like, wait. So he paid him. He paid your nephew a coin to have him suck his dick. He's like, yeah. He goes, that means your nephew's a prostitute.
Yeah. He's a man whore.
He goes, no, it's my family. I get to decide who's going to prostitute themselves out. And it's just like, no.
All right. Well, that's enough for my
weird conversation. We have 15 minutes in, man. We're not anywhere near soccer. So let me take something further away at this point, okay?
Yeah, let's get the junk out. And I don't mean our dicks.
The junk's coming out in just a sec, yeah.
I don't mean our penises.
Well, not ours, at least. All right. So
hold on. I've got an ant on my screen. All right, got it.
If you're gonna beat it, Derek, make sure to do it off camera.
Beat an ant?
Sure, why not? Well, I've got a nice circle.
I don't have tweezers that small. That's why.
Jack Holt, here, I'm going to pull it up here. Jack Holt just says, "What have I just logged on to?"
You said that last time.
Was it Jack who said it last time? Because
I thought so.
There are plenty of people who probably are sitting there going like, "What the fuck did I just walk into?"
Okay, just for you newbies, the first 15, 20 minutes of the show is jackassery, and then we get to the soccer. All right? So if you want to skip the first 20 minutes, then we get to the soccer. All right, go ahead, Brett. Play some stuff for us here.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say our numbers might be a little low tonight because we're up against South American soccer World Cup qualifiers.
All right.
So, I got starting with some animal topics here.
Okay.
And a nice circle of life meme. You know what the circle of life is, right, Derek?
Yes, I do.
Can you explain to those who don't know it?
Well, it's a song as well.
It's a circle
of life. Yeah. I mean, everything about life is a circle, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're born, then you die, and other things are born. That's how it works.
Yeah, I mean, ideally, you're looking at stuff like, like the sun, gives life to plants. Animals eat the plants. Animals eat the other animals. Animals die. The animal dying feeds the plant life.
Plants, correct.
Animals, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's a circle of life.
Yep.
We're all giving. So here's a circle of life of dinosaurs.
Okay.
They go from dinosaurs to chickens. Chickens go from chickens to chicken tenders. And chicken tenders go to chicken dinosaurs.
All right, that's interesting. It's a good
one.
I
mean, the dinosaurs, I guess, don't necessarily come back.
No, they don't. No, there's not a full circle there. Sorry.
No, it's not really.
It's more like a circle jerk.
Yeah.
There's an ending.
Well, since we're talking about animals and food, let's go ahead and jump over to this video real quick. I don't need to have audio for this.
Okay.
Let's take a look. Let's look at what? Rottweilers? Not Rottweilers. Yep.
What the hell? Oh, shit. Oh, my God. Yeah, that was bad news. Man.
He was shitting himself right when they got into it. He's antagonizing.
Yeah.
You want this stick? Here, come get that stick. Oh, he got the stick. Ah, you stupid.
Doors opening. Oh.
No way you knew that. Look at that thing shaking.
Man, bad idea, dude.
Oh, man.
All right.
People are not smart.
That was bad.
You know what animal is smart?
The sperm whale.
Sure.
I don't know.
I'm sure it is.
Okay.
Most whales are pretty smart.
Dolphins are smart.
I
don't know if whales are.
So are bears. Here's a 3-legged bear named Tripod. Breaks into Florida home and guzzles 3 White Claws.
All right.
What's your thought process when you hear this?
I'm just happy for the bear.
Well, I don't know if there's actual video of the bear.
Okay.
What I do know is that these cans look like they were punctured with something and are now empty and a little bit crushed. I feel like if a bear was biting into that or stomping on it, it'd be severely crushed. I think the mom's kids broke into their fridge, pulled out their White Claw, and then blamed it on fucking Tripod.
Maybe so, because, it's not like he knows how to lift the fucking tab. So if he's going to drink those, he's going to crush them in his mouth. They're going to spray all over him. He's not going to get much out of that. So I find this story.
Maybe he digs it and laps it up afterwards. But I mean, those things would be fucking crushed.
No. I mean, this is a highly questionable story by the New York Post. Very high.
I think the Florida home doesn't want the news to find out that their kids are drinking alcohol at the house.
I guess.
But what, if you're going to shotgun a White Claw, which seems strange in its own right, why would you possibly do it in the middle of the can? And what are the odds that the bear managed to actually pop the top too, man? Let's make it look like a bear ate it.
Looks like they shot BBs at it. That's all.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
All right. So that's that. I feel like we're getting near the 20-minute mark.
We're at the 20-minute mark, and we're approaching the end of close to the end of fluff. So here's the last piece of fluff we got going.
All right. After 16 years of marriage, is finding out that your spouse sucked 100 plus dicks before getting hitched a big deal, or is my wife just overreacting? Yeah, I mean that's a whole different topic, isn't it? Either way,
it might not necessarily be the quantity of dicks that you sucked. That might be having your wife question things.
I mean, that's a lot. I mean, unless it's the same dude 100 times. But he's saying 100 plus dicks. Those are different dicks, I'm guessing. And if that's the case, that's just a lot of dicks. That's all I'm saying. I don't know if you're in the porn industry or what.
Matt just frequented the Blue Oyster. You never know.
Well, I don't think so. Even then, that's hard to do. That's a lot of dicks. Just saying, Brett.
Yeah. Yeah. Chris Gary goes, maybe it was for crack.
Could have been an addict, had to pay his bills. You know. Hey, you do what you do when you're an addict. All right.
And I got one video to go with that.
Okay.
Let me close that out. I gotta pause it. Gotta go back and pause. All right, here we go.
All right.
1 minute. What is that? So this video is called Small Sausage. So what are you gonna do to make a small sausage bigger?
Okay. Cut it in half, I guess. Spread it out.
Doesn't work.
Oh, that's another way of doing it.
Yeah. It doesn't work. It doesn't work with all sausages.
I hate to break the news, though. It's still the same amount of sausage.
Yeah.
So, it's still very little sausage. So,
yeah.
Oh, by the way,
you can spread it out over the course of the entire thing.
My package arrived. My package arrived.
The transition
from Stiegelmeyer. It's a sort of they're in the United States, but they're called the Stiegelmeyer Sausage Company, and all they make is German shit. See, that's the Bavarian flag over there. So I got Schinkenwurst and I got traditional Frankfurter Wieners. I am so stoked. They're going to be great.
Derek's going to be eating about 100 plus sticks soon.
I only bought, I think, 12 in one package, and the other one it's actually cold cuts. So no wiener sucking there. Okay. All right. Now we're about to get to soccer.
We're done with the fluff. Let's get into the actual soccer here.
All right. U.S. men's national team. Welcome to the Brotherhood. Christopher lunch. Is it Christopher or Christopher or Christopher? Christopher. Because it would be Christopher. I'm sorry. But anyway.
Guys, before we start, BJ's got a little announcement for the group.
All right. It's always good to start the day on good news.
Good news.
And we received good news from FIFA this morning that Christopher, your one-time transfer has been officially approved.
It's done.
And we appreciate
not American
to us.
Left back.
In return, we'll give you our full commitment, and we'll welcome you into the Brotherhood.
So does this solidify that Bello is now legit?
Yeah, Brett, that was a long time ago. But I was just waiting for Berhalter to just break out in laughter at some point. Go, sucker!
Just kidding.
Oh shit! Did I say that out loud?
It was actually rejected by FIFA.
No, I mean, sucker, we got you, and you could have definitely played for Denmark.
Yeah.
And you're going to battle like a motherfucker to hold down a left back spot. Maybe not on our team. I mean, just look at Tyler Boyd and how far that ship has sunk asunder. You know, I mean, God knows.
Hey, he's flying in MLS at this point, so he might make a resurgence.
Yeah, but he'd be playing in every World Cup going forward with New Zealand because, quite frankly, every team in that fucking region is going to make the World Cup now.
Yeah, and look what happened to Bacon with Iceland. He still would have been injured. Okay.
I mean, you're going to have teams like Vanuatu, New Zealand, Samoa, or whatever, some weird shit in the World Cup. All right, but we've already complained about the 48-team World Cup, or I have complained about it. Judgment Deity says, at this point, can we just let BJ handle all the actual coaching and pep talks? Well, I mean, I think that's better because I really don't want to hear anything more about African dogs. And I really don't want to hear more about us changing the way the world.
Stop it, you son of a
feels
bitch.
About Americans, or believes.
Well,
let's American soccer.
Let's go ahead and branch off of my nicely organized tabs here.
That's kind of my job on this show is to fuck up your tabs.
You jumped the gun. You blew your load.
Now I've blown my load. Okay, let's see where this is going. I think that's a little dramatic.
Let's rehash this, Derek.
There's absolutely nothing on my screen. All right, from my end. An oldie but a goodie. We want to change the way the world views American soccer. For the better, right? For the better, right?
So the reason why this is coming back up is the new Berhalter cycle. Clearly, last cycle, we changed the way the world views American soccer. Right?
No.
We probably did that, right? You think?
No.
What?
We didn't.
I couldn't imagine where you're getting at.
No,
Berhalter got us qualified. He got us out of the group stage.
All they think is that we have this young generation that has potential. They're not, they don't know if it's going to really come off as anything. They think we're going to be as competitive, like we're get out of the group World Cup good. That's all we are right now. And they don't think we're necessarily any better than that right now. So we haven't really changed. It's not like we went to the fucking quarterfinals of the World Cup, Bruce Arena. I mean, no, we didn't even get that far. So, and we played in a much easier group than we did in 2014, right? Yeah. So, all right, we played Holland and we looked sort of like a limp sausage, keeping with the theme of the night. Chris Fairburn almost threw up when I heard Pulisic say it on an interview. I know. Well, I know.
That's the thing. Because what would you call this? That cycle's motto or a catchphrase or something? Because it seemed like it was like in every PowerPoint. It was always written on whiteboards. Players were saying it in pressers. Yeah, so it was Berhalter. Yep. I mean, this wasn't like just a one-off type of thing that we're like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever.
It was that in system, yeah.
Yeah, the system, yes.
Yep.
But yeah, so this is the new cycle, Derek. We're no longer out there to change the way the world views American soccer.
Really? What are we doing now? Doug McIntyre, Weston McKennie with the money quote. It's not like a money shot. In today's, in today's U.S. men's national team media availability. We set out on a mission 4 years ago to change the way the world views American soccer. Now our motto is to change the soccer in America forever. Did he get that from Gregg too? Let's change soccer in America forever. Forever? I mean, not even the Italians and the Germans can do that. Because look how bad Germany is right now. Everybody thinks they kind of like are rotten. Italy was atrocious for a while. And, both countries have really poor youth systems apparently right now for their own countrymen or country kids or whatever you want to fucking call them. Anyhow, so nothing's static.
Germany into that?
Well, I think a lot of German pundits would say, and people who cover soccer in Germany would tell you there is a problem, not with foreign-based players turning out in Germany, because they're turning out. It's the German-based players. that aren't turning out right now.
Yeah.
So
Mike B says tagged with the comment photobomb. Yeah, we're gonna address not necessarily tax comment, but that topic very briefly. It's a small topic, but to your point, do you think the millions and millions, hundreds of millions, or whatever amount of money that the German Federation flooded into youth development a decade and a half ago, or whatever it was,
right before they won the World Cup, or
they flooded the system, the youth system. They
8 years before that World Cup. Yeah.
So they did all that. Are you trying to tell me that all that money spent was only good for one generation?
Well, something else is going on, Brett, and I don't think that the training's any worse because look, Pulisic went there, and he came away as a great player or a much better player.
Sure.
From Dortmund. I would say the same thing so far for Reyna. He looks really good when he's healthy. So again, the German press is criticizing the fact that the training still isn't good anymore. What they're saying is what's going on with the German player. What's wrong? Why do we have so many foreign players in our youth system? Like what happened to the concentration and the focus on making German players better? I mean, if you look at the Bayern system, there's so many. I mean, the 2 team, so many foreign players, at least over the years. And that same thing, look at Dortmund. Same thing. Not many on the starting 11 of the Dortmund senior team. Yeah, you got some good German players there, but a lot of people from all over the fucking world. So, and I think that's something that, listen, if one of your best players is Kai Havertz, that's a problem. Okay.
Yeah. So, that's fair.
I don't know what this new motto is. It's stupid.
I saw it. I'm like, Chris Gary actually tagged me in it, and I'm like, ooh, that'll be fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty limp dick fucking, to follow the theme of the show, a limp dick fucking motto. And I don't even know what that fucking supposed to mean. Like, I don't know what changing the way the world views American soccer means. Like, first of all, who fucking cares what they think? And number two, how you going to know? They're going to all what? Send you roses in the mail and with a letter saying, thank you, you've passed. We've now all accepted you as one of the best teams in the world. That's not how that works.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Even if we did well, I mean, how many people worldwide would be like, oh, they're contenders now. Okay, well, look at that.
Yeah, believe me, there'd still be a lot of people going, it's just a lucky generation. They'll be back to shit soon.
Yeah, it's always possible.
Yeah.
Well, Derek, I don't have much on the transfer news segment, but I do have some, so get ready for it. Here it comes.
All right. Oh, shit. Hold on.
Ready. Here goes 3, 2, 1.
Transfer news. Everybody loves that transfer news, but me.
Wasn't bad. I think I muted you when you unmuted yourself. Because you freaked out the last time. Yeah. So I think I muted you and then unmuted you.
I think I can do it. So I don't think you need to do it anymore.
Yeah, because I wouldn't have muted you in that case. But yeah.
That's what she said. All right.
Do I already have a screen? I do have a screen pulled up here. So let's just jump right into this.
After a short stint in Mexico with FC Juarez, midfielder Alan Sonora, oh boy, has agreed to once again follow his brother and sign a 1-year deal with Huracan in Argentina. His medical proceedings are underway. What, something to do with his giblets? I'm not sure. But anyhow, let's just say this. The Sonora brothers have been on the outside looking in for a long time. They had a chance in Europe. They had chances in Argentina. They went to Mexico. They rode Pine.
There was rumors of MLS chances, but nothing came to fruition.
Nothing serious. Yeah, listen, they're good. They're good quality club players in a lower to mid-level team somewhere in Argentina. I mean, it's not like Juarez is blowing anybody's balls off, so it's not like they were at even a high-quality, super-duper historic fucking Mexican club, and they still couldn't get much playing time. I get the one guy had an injury to his giblets, but, the other brother was giblet, healed, and he should have played, but he didn't because he wasn't good enough. All right, and I mean, so anyhow, they're off the picture. They're out of the picture. You can write them off and not worry about them anymore. Yeah. Don't even bother following them or tracking them or covering them. I hate when I have to say things like that. I mean, you can if you like them and you just like them personally and whatever. Yeah.
Well, I mean, and given their age, I mean, what is Allen at this point? 25, 26?
Yeah, they're up there.
And he did not impress the moments he was with the United States.
No.
He was given his chance. At this point, I would imagine that they're going to be looking at younger options. Hell, Paxton Aronson fucking scored a goal for Frankfurt in the friendly just now, or just recently, like a day ago.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, it's a friendly, but he scored a goal.
It's probably against some 4th division team. But
I'll take it, whatever. Got to impress when you get your chances. But yeah, this is good for him because he's going to go back and continue playing soccer, get paid to do so. But as far as the national team's concerned, I mean, he'd have to do some crazy shit, or we'll have to suffer some massive injuries for it to occur.
It's over.
Sorry to say. Yeah.
All right. It's over. It's over. It's over. You know who that is? Roy Orbison.
Thank you for not giving me time to guess, and I wouldn't have got it right now.
I didn't think you would.
You saved us all a bit of time.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to sing that every time somebody's done.
Oh, well, this one's not necessarily written off yet. We know Caden Clark is out on loan for through December, at least.
Okay, we already covered that. Van Sissel.
But it's official. He has signed with Minnesota United and will join them in December or January.
It's over. It's over. It's over. I can't hit that note. That's too high. I should have stuck with the first one. I did the second round of it, and he goes real high on that one. Anyhow, the point is it's over. All right?
Yeah.
I mean, if he plays for Minnesota as a regular starter, I'd be surprised by that at this point.
Mm-hmm.
He's done. Derek Ray. Hi, I'm Derek Ray. Kicker reporting Dortmund's U.S. men's national team midfielder Gio Reyna has now been back in full training for around 2 weeks and could be a genuine alternative for Dortmund after the international break, especially given their uninspired play so far. Reyna expectedly to play a role, at least as a sub initially. All right, well, I mean, didn't he play as a sub before he was injured? So, yeah, probably have to. You're not going to just take a guy who's been injured that long and toss him in the starting lineup.
Yeah, exactly. No, especially initially. He's definitely going to start as a role as a sub. But he's kind of alluding that maybe, assuming that Reyna doesn't shit the bucket when he does start to play, that it's most likely going to have a larger role, if not a starter role, moving forward. But initially, sub minutes, he needs to get match fit. He needs to get out on the pitch playing with the team again. So
I hate to say
I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that. But then once he starts scoring goals and assisting goals, he better fucking start getting an actual starting role.
This tweet is like being the master of the obvious, if you ask me.
Well, the only part of this that was really worthwhile talking about was that he's been back to full training for the last 2 weeks.
Yes,
so that's good news.
That's news. The rest of it,
not
news. It's just how that works. That's how that works.
I think he ran out of space. He also was going to say, and is expected to be in the October window for the United States national team when they face Germany and Ghana.
I mean, he ran out of characters. That must be.
But no, I agree. You know, the big part's right here. 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. The rest of it is just filling out space.
Yep.
We all know he's not going to jump in and start. No one does that. I don't care, who you are. Coming back from an injury that serious, you don't just jump straight into the starting lineup, just like you don't jump straight for the clitoris. We've talked about this many times here.
Yeah. So, Derek, big topic, one of our big topics outside the U.S. men's national team starting 11 is how mainstream media is fucking around again.
Yeah.
But I don't want to get into the main topic just yet. I want to ease into it.
That's what she said.
I want to ease into it with something a little more lighthearted, but still points out that the media is full of shit.
Okay.
So you probably heard that while Miami was in LAFC, there were many celebrity attending, right? We actually covered that too. We actually covered a number of them that were there. We saw Leonardo DiCaprio eating a popsicle.
We covered a number of them with diarrhea. Yes.
So there was. So after all that occurred, apparently Pulisic wrote a very cheeky swipe at those A-listers on Instagram.
Okay, U.S. men's national teams. Oh, on our favorite tool of a fucking website, goal.com. Where everything's clickbait. Just absolutely every headline's clickbait. Yeah. U.S. men's national team star Christian Pulisic takes cheeky swipe as A-listers turn out in force to watch Lionel Messi in MLS and extends his own invitation. Oh, I know where he's going with this.
So I mean, this doesn't sound like Pulisic, right? He doesn't.
No,
it
does.
He doesn't seem like the one to start some shenaniganry.
Yes, he would. He would basically say, "Hey, motherfuckers, all you fuckers, come out and watch Messi play. What about supporting the fucking national team when we're fucking playing in your backyard? All right, where are you when That's why we don't play in your backyard anymore, motherfuckers, out there in California. Because when we do, crowd is 80% fucking rooting for the other team every time. Doesn't even matter who the team is. It could be Ecuador. It could be Honduras. It could be fucking Mexico. It doesn't fucking matter. As long as they're from general region. So this is what he's going to say. He's going to complain. I have not seen this. So I am shooting in the dark here, but that is the theme of what he's going to say, right?
More or less. But I mean, the tone's in question here. So Gold goes on this, hey, what happened, what was said, et cetera.
Oh, these bullet points
hey,
are
what happened, blah, blah, blah. And talks about how LeBron James, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Holland, et cetera. Although Tom Holland's not American, so I mean, I guess he's not necessarily talking about him when he makes this swipe, this heinous swipe at the A-listers.
Can I say this about this fucking format on Goal?
Go for it.
Scroll back to the top where it has the bullet points. Like, this couldn't be written and at the same time be saying, hey, fucking idiots. Hey, stupid short span, can't read longer than a fucking paragraph morons. Here's how I'm going to give you some bullet points, especially if you're a super dumb shit. But if you're get past those 3 bullet points, I've got what happened next. Oh, yeah, what happened? Like, this is just clownish. This isn't even journalism anymore. This is just playing to the lowest denominator of the fan.
God damn you, Goal. Fuck out of here. I feel like most people just read the title and won't actually branch down. They might branch down just to see what this cheeky swipe was, and see what he said. So like what happened talks about Messi being there, all the stars.
La-di-da-di-do. The bigger picture
talks about Messi being on the field and hopefully the so-called soccer supporters display their level of support for the national team too.
All right, so I could have written this for them.
And and he posted this on his Instagram. It says, let them know they're invited to U.S. national team games too.
Good for fucking him. Good for him.
Now, I want you to look at this, say, like the stars shone bright from last match day. So I want you to keep this in mind, okay? This Instagram, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
With Owen Wilson wearing his LA hat.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get to the actual Instagram itself, Goal.com is not the only one who is reporting on this.
Okay.
So apparently this place,
Bolavip
VIP,
Bolavip Soccer. Pulisic jealous of Messi's Inter Miami slam Selena Gomez. Oh, he did slam her. Jesus Christ.
He might want to.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm jumping the gun here. I'm blowing my load. I don't want to ruin it here. So
Lionel Messi is captivating everyone with his incredible sperm performances at Inter Miami. For his last game against LAFC in California, many renowned stars wanted to attend the game and witness his magic wand with their own eyes, including Selena Gomez, Leonardo DiCaprio, and many others. U.S. men's national team star Christian Pulisic expressed his disappointment with the behavior of the famous actors. No, God, as he wants them to actively support the national team and blasted them harshly. Whatever.
Now, Derek, I just, between the first article and this one, I couldn't believe that Pulisic would do such a thing.
I knew he wouldn't. This is all blown out of proportion.
So
this is like, you know, your girlfriend takes your first, blow from you ever, and she acts like it was a fucking bukkake.
Yeah.
You know, it's not. This is totally making a fucking mountain out of a molehill, right?
Yes, but it might not even be that, Derek. Because here's the act. Remember, I told you. Remember that Instagram, with Owen Wilson with the LA hat and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then we saw this, how he just flat out slammed her.
Yeah.
So here's the actual Instagram. It's the same thing, but instead it's a picture of Selena Gomez.
Okay.
So the hidden context here is that Pulisic apparently has revealed that in a recent interview that his celebrity crush from his teen years was Selena Gomez. I don't think it was a swipe at celebrities.
No,
I think he was saying,
not.
Hey, you're already there. Why don't you come check me out?
Exactly. It's just basically a poke. Hey, guys, there's this other team called the US Men's National Team, and you guys maybe should come out in droves for us too and support our team.
Yeah.
Because you don't, you dicks, and that's all he's saying. And they're all saying probably, well, you guys win a World Cup and then we'll come see you, fuckers. Because they don't know enough about soccer and how important the World Cup is and how important the national team is. Listen, I mean, all right, LAFC, LA. Okay, I'm a Galaxy fan. Okay, I'm a fan. I watch as many of the games as I can get my hands on or have time for, which isn't allowed after watching all the European games. But when it comes to comparing my support for LAG to the United States men's national team, that's not even close to equal. Mm-hmm. I'm obsessed with the U.S. men's national team and it being great. I enjoy watching, used to when they were great, LAG play. Mm-hmm. That's it. I enjoy it. I'm not obsessed with it. I just enjoy it. I'm obsessed with the fucking U.S. men's national team.
So the whole mainstream media, the gold.coms, whatever that other Twitter bullcrap we saw, it was all driving clicks because it was clear as day. And I didn't even know about the previous interview, but spending time on Twitter for like 5 minutes when that came out, I found out pretty quickly, and I even found the Instagram for it, showing that he had expressed his interest back in his teen years.
I've heard that in
only like a handful of years ago. I mean,
yeah,
the flame is still strong.
He was at Chelsea. Yeah, but isn't she like 5, 6, 8 years older than him? 7 years, maybe? I don't know.
I don't care.
It doesn't really matter. What?
I'm sure he doesn't care.
It sounded like you muted yourself. And I thought you said something way dirtier.
No, that's what the chat's saying.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, listen, you know what? Pulisic's got to stand firm and maintain his commitment to being a good Christian, and that means you have to wait till you're married. So
there you go, BMR with the facts. She's 31.
See, I was right.
Which happens to be about 5 or 6 years older than him.
It's like I fucking know stuff.
I mean, who knew about Selena Gomez? Though?
Who fucking knew? I was disgusted.
Hey, you know what? Yeah. Oh, she's 31. Gross, disgusting. Ugh.
That's some of my best time and era. It's around my early 30s. Have to say. Yeah. Okay. What else we got?
Well, we're already talking about the mainstream media. Let's jump into the Brooks topic because that's one of the topics.
Can we get the fucking Jeff Cameron thing over with first?
Oh, sure. I mean, I didn't know that. Sure, why not?
It's the other one's the main topic, right? So
it's
let's
a main topic, yes.
Yeah, let's get this one out of the way because it wasn't even listed as a topic. Because who's going to stick around for the end for us talking about Jeff Cameron? Anyhow, Jeff.
Well, who knew Jeff Cameron was going to be the end until you just brought him up?
Well, I just wanted
who's going to stay to the end to watch Jeff Cameron? Nobody talked about Jeff Cameron in the topic here. Nobody knew until like 20 seconds ago when you're like, hey, can we get the Jeff Cameron topic over with?
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you watched the first one, but the funny thing is that Jeff's like, oh, I'll get Brick Shea on your show. Not that that's not really, I don't think what Tact wanted him to do anyhow, because we all know that that's kind of like a running joke with Tactical Manager, right? With Filippo.
Yeah.
And so once Jeff said, "Hey, I'll get Breck to come on your show," I mean, what's he going to say? No, I don't want Breck on my show.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that Tack wouldn't want Breck on his show after the years of tweets talking about the GOAT.
Okay, I am sure Breck Shea knows that too. Okay,
I'm sure he does.
So
it's his number one fan. It's like his only fan. So and I'm not talking about OnlyFans.
I don't think that Filippo would mind me saying this. He started texting me last night, and he had a whole host of questions he was going to ask him. And so everything I sent him as questions, he had already. He's like, "Do you have anything else that would be kind of more funny that you think he would laugh at or whatever?" So I gave him some stuff. I don't know if he's going to use it. I'm not going to say what it is because we've talked about it on the show already. So, so I'm not going back on that and rehashing old stuff. But I did want him to talk about snakes. So I hope they talk about the snakes and his llama
and his python.
The wrestling the snake thing. That's yes, and the python that nearly dragged him into the pond and killed him. Oh. Yes. So Breck has an OnlyFans. No way. Really?
No. He meant to ask that as a question. There's a question mark in the next thing. Because I mentioned I'm talking about Tack being his OnlyFans. I'm not talking about OnlyFans.
Oh.
Well, you know what? After this whole soccer thing's done, I'm talking about like maybe coaching, or I don't think he's going to coach, but being an online personality or something like that.
He's an artist.
Yeah, he could.
He's an artiste.
Rumor has it he could easily become an OnlyFans star.
I mean, he's certainly, based on what we learned about him during our big soccer years and the people we had super close connections with during our big soccer years who knew him and knew his roommates well. Let's just say Breck Shea had to have more than one roommate several times because his roommates were like, "Man, he's keeping me up all night. He's got chicks coming in left and right. You know, it's just they stay up all night fucking and making all kinds of noise."
Yeah, every single one of his roommates is like, "I can only jerk off to that so many times before I get bored."
You were jerking off to it?
I wish I was a professional player at the time and could have been his roommate. I would have put up with it. It'd be like listening to an overhead fan, I guess, at the point, you know, you just hear.
I thought you were saying you were jerking off to when she was feeding us those rumors. You were like secretly jerking off to them.
When you weren't listening, you didn't listen to the first half of what I said.
I didn't on purpose because it's like one of those things. Like, I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast? That's that classic gotcha moment. All right, just by not really paying attention to what you were actually saying. Anonymity anymore, says Tack, coming to Derek for non-cursing questions is weird. We talk about all kinds of stuff, not just questions for shows. But anyhow, fun stuff. I hope it goes well. Listen, I understand if he's nervous about it. I would be nervous. He hasn't told me he's nervous about it. I'm just saying I would be nervous having mocked him as long as he has mocked him, you know, as the GOAT. And at the same time, the same reason we're nervous a little bit, or I'm nervous that I haven't reached Winalda yet. I did try a call this weekend and he didn't pick up, which he said he may not the first time. He said, so keep trying.
Leave a message.
But yeah, I am a little nervous about talking with Eric after our fallout back in whatever year that was, 2011, 2010.
Time is the only herb that heals all wounds,
I guess. But you know what? If I can already see it now. He picks up my phone. Hey, who is this? It's Derek. Hey, I just wanted to say fuck you. Goodbye.
No, I want Eric to answer that phone going, no, speak in the dog voice.
I'm not going to do the.
That would be hysterical, and we'd be ruined on the phone, and it would have to be brought up again on the show.
Well, the problem is if he's on the show and he's in the waiting room, and I have to read, and I will read it like it's supposed to be. The turd.
You think it's going to trigger him? He's going to have some Manchurian candidate type of what?
I don't know. Again. Forgive and forget. We all move on. That was fucking 22 years ago. Or wait, no, 12 years
Jesus
ago.
Christ,
I know. I just aged us. Like, put us in a time warp.
Derek's gonna be talking like this before you know it.
All right.
Derek, apparently the chat does not appreciate you not getting my jokes.
I get his jokes. I just don't always think they're funny.
hates
And what I tried to do is make his joke another one. So there you go.
I think you got caught not understanding my joke, and then you spun it and then tried to make it sound like, oh, no, I understood what you said. I was just trying to put you in the place of those roommates. Yeah.
I'm stoned. I'm sorry. All right.
So I did find the one still frame here where Tack was smiling and Jeff was also perplexed.
Is that the only time he smiled on the host
I don't
show?
know. I plan to sit down and actually watch all these because I do want to hear. I want to hear all the beef that Cameron might have with that era and everything like that. I hope it goes into beef at least.
I'd say this:
the beef better be there.
Be prepared for it to be as rated R as Brett and I's show. Because, I swear to God, Cameron says fuck a few times or shit. What? Yeah, he swears.
You're allowed to do that on Filippo's channel?
I didn't think you were.
Damn.
Yeah, but he let
Times
him get
are changing.
He's Jeff Cameron. What are you going to do? Hey, man, Can you not curse on the show, please? Yeah, so you just let him do it.
Yeah. He's like, nah. You know what I said about that? Fuck that.
Yeah. So anyhow, just to summarize the first show, because they do go on this thing about Jurgen Klinsmann, and they do name off correctly, does Jeff Cameron, all the positives about Jurgen Klinsmann's reign. One, he told the players he picked the best friendlies. He took us to the best friendlies abroad. He made us play the hardest teams he could find away. All right, that's challenging players. He wanted you. Go ahead.
I was to that point now. Speaking of now, that's a little more difficult. But yes, that was great. That was a great thing for him at the time. Hey, we're gonna go play Italy in Italy.
Right.
We're gonna do this over there. We're gonna do that over there. Play Poland and Poland. I remember that one too. Was Poland and Poland? Was that Bradley? I think it was Bradley. It was 2008, I think.
Might have been. But anyhow, we did it for a while.
Last jersey I bought.
Bradley
gray jersey.
Bradley did a little of that too. He wasn't the only one to do it, but Klinsmann really made it.
I think Klinsmann definitely made a point of it. You know.
Yeah.
Hey, we're gonna do it friendly. We're gonna do it somewhere else.
I like the way Jeff said, "Listen, unlike other coaches I played for, he wanted you to be upset if you didn't get to play or you weren't picked for the starting lineup. As long as you kept it professional, you were allowed to be upset. You know, you could show disappointment, and it was okay. He understood it. That meant you felt like you deserved to play, and you were upset by it because you wanted to play bad." Sure. All right.
I mean, I feel like every coach wants that as long as you're, like you said, as long as you're professional about it.
Well, I don't know.
You're not like throwing chairs and like having like three players hold you back.
Well, yeah. Yep, I get you. He said he brought in the nutritionists and the sports science. Okay, but everybody was doing that at the time. They were starting to do that. He wanted us to never quit, so he wanted us to keep our old edge as Americans and fight. But he also told us we have to be nasty. You have to stomp on some feet sometimes, you know.
I've been playing the Bulls,
right?
Russian, I guess, but you know what I was trying to get at there.
Yeah. And then he said Jurgen wanted to get more Americans in top leagues, and he was actively involved in phone calls to get players like Breck over to across the pond. So I agree with all of those things. And of course, the more bullshit that I hear comes out of Landon Donovan's mouth, the less I want to defend his ass. But he was and should have been on that World Cup team. So Klinsmann did hold grudges. It's just
did Cameron talk about the omission?
No.
Does he talk about it in a further conversation? Because this is one. You said you haven't watched the second or third one yet.
No, they might talk about it later. I only watched one so far. So anyhow, there's that. I just wanted to kind of sum up that he's right, but at the same time, you know, Klinsmann had his negatives too. He was the opposite of Gregg Berhalter. He had no system at all. Sometimes he would show up and play the team in a formation they'd never practiced before. Like when we played Mexico in a 3-4-3 out of nowhere, right? And of course, it bit us in the ass immediately. And Jermaine Jones had to go up into his grill and say, "Hey, this ain't working. We got to go back to the, whatever we're doing
before." Out.
Yeah. So, and I will give Klinsmann credit for this too. Leading right up to the World Cup and then the World Cup, we played a totally different way.
Sounds like a coach that's recently coached the United States national team.
Yeah. You wake up and smell the coffee and go, you know what? I can't play that bullshit system ball. Or in Klinsmann's case, this non-system ball with no system and no formation and no structure. That's what it looked like often. Young Klinsmann. And then all of a sudden there was structure. And fucking Kyle Beckerman filled a role on that team in that World Cup that I think was necessary.
Despite him having cement in his shoes and 35 pounds of hair.
Yes. Slowed him down about at least 2 miles per hour.
He was still instrumental in them getting out of the group stage, the group of death. And taking Belgium. It was Belgium, right? It was Belgium, yeah. Taking Belgium to
the break.
The extra time.
Yeah, I remember
how it was only because of Wondolowski that we lost. You son of a bitch.
So I had this friend in Portugal. He's Portuguese, and
that's good to know.
We were going back and forth at the time, sharing messages about the World Cup, watching the World Cup, and he was like, "I've never heard of this Beckerman guy, but he's really good. I mean, he's a musician. I'm a musician. That's why we know each other. We're both we're indie rockers, but on different continents. And yeah, I would tell him all about him. Yeah, he's been around. He's actually pretty old, So anyhow, cool World Cup. So I just want to get the Cameron thing is worth watching. I think on the first show, it's kind of fun to see him talk out the whole.
All right,
we're
gonna do rapid fire still frames here and see if I can catch another smirk on Filippo here.
Well, it took you 80 minutes to get them?
Price. It's taking way too long. I give up. I don't care.
I'm sure he smiled somewhere.
100%. Yes. Yeah. It's still frames. 35 minutes. Me going click, 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 click.
We're just busting balls here.
I'm sure. Most of our show is us doing this. Depending on who's talking, of course.
I don't know.
And mind you, the first 20 minutes is probably us going like, laughing the entire time because it's all fluff. Yeah. Watch over that. All right. Well, since we had to take that venture off, and you wanted to talk about the Brooks, we haven't talked about Brooks yet, actually.
No.
Why don't since the mainstream media is still fresh in our minds before we branched off in this tangent of Cameron, why don't we talk about Brooks right now?
So yeah, let's talk about Brooks.
Let's talk about Brooks.
The one thing I found extremely curious in that interview with Gregg Berhalter is that just the last window when BJ called up the team for the Gold Cup, BJ got all these questions about John Brooks. Even his predecessor had to answer questions about John Brooks. Who has not had to answer a single question about why the fuck isn't John Brooks here? Is it because the mainstream media is just like, okay, we know what he's going to say, so there's no point in asking? Or is it that they were tired of hearing his bullshit, so they don't want another bullshit answer? Or is it they're like, fuck it, he's done? Or is it that U.S. Soccer said, no, don't ask that question anymore. We're done. That BJ time you answered it, he answered it. That's it. It's the last time we want to hear that one.
So of the 4 options you gave there, the first 3 would be there's 4. I mean, the first 2 are practically the same thing, but there are 4 points there. But of the 4, the first 3 would be them doing their job.
Right.
Asking the questions, sometimes hard-hitting, sometimes uncomfortable.
Right.
You got to ask them. Hey, you have the center back who's doing pretty damn good for a German team in the Bundesliga.
Right.
And he can't get a sniff. What the hell's up with that?
I mean, it seems to me you could ask that instead of some of the fluffy ones they threw at him, right? How does it feel being back? I mean, fuck that. I don't care about what he feels about coming back.
Yeah.
What kind of shit is that? I want to know why a certain player is not on the team that should be on this team. That's it. It's as simple as that.
Well, and I think even during qualifiers last cycle, it was asked only on like the last 2 windows.
Yeah.
The rest of the time, I mean, they kind of glossed over, like, he needs to do this, he needs to do that. But they're like, hey, wait, why isn't he here? He's doing well now, and they got another excuse. But your job as the mainstream media is to ask the questions.
Yes. So for example, right here in Indy, we've had the Jonathan Taylor incident with the Indianapolis Colts. And the press has been fucking asking it every single day of Chris Ballard and anybody else representing the Indianapolis Colts at a microphone. They're getting hammered. Hey, when are you going to fix this problem with John? When are you going to give Jonathan Taylor his money? Are you going to pay Jonathan Taylor? Every fucking day that came up. Somehow, in American soccer news, you're not allowed to badger the fucking dude that's supposed to be answering questions honestly. And had he answered the questions honestly before, we wouldn't need to ask these questions anymore. Just say, listen, we don't get along. It's over. I don't think he culturally fits in with the team. I wish him the best in Germany and the rest of his career. But as long as I'm the coach and this is the team and I'm running it, we're probably not going to have Jonathan Brooks in this team.
At this point, just spill the beans and say, hey, we had our beef. I don't see it. I don't see us resolving this anytime soon. I wouldn't expect it.
Right, and that way you get it over with. Or you could do it the other way, which is have Michael Cameron let everybody know before the presser starts. We will not be taking any John Brooks questions. By the way, Gregg has done this or that, and he's fucking awesome. Okay, now the interview can start. Oh, let me give you some more jizz information that you should know about how great Gregg is, and then we'll start the Gregg's gone 22 matches without a loss in CONCACAF. No other coach has ever done that before. Jizzle. All right, first question. Let's call on Jeff Carlisle, a reliable cocksucker who will ask simple questions. Go ahead, Jeff.
So, I mean, I would have absolutely massive respect for somebody who puts it all on the line, knows that they're probably going to lose their press badge, to ask that question, and I would subscribe to their Subscribe Stack.
Yes, Substack.
Thank you.
Substack.
I would subscribe to it hands down because I mean, I'd even cancel my Athletic just to get it because I mean, if nobody's going to ask them the question, what's the fucking point?
Yeah,
I'm not saying that Brooks has to be here. At least ask the question, get a fucking answer.
Here's the question. Here's the intro to every question I fucking cannot stand. Hi, Gregg. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for doing this? To giving you some access to an interview during the window?
He should immediately cut him off and answer that and move on to the next person because it's such a dumb fucking statement to make.
Thanks.
I appreciate you taking time out of your day to talk to the media.
Yeah, I mean, listen, that's just a ridiculous thing to say. Thanks for doing this. He has to do this. It's part of his fucking job. That's like, anyhow. But, I mean, it's not like I would, if they called on me, I'd be like, hi, Gregg, suck my dick. Here's my question. I mean, I wouldn't do it like that or anything, but I would have a hardcore question I want answered that hasn't been answered. And one of the ones that hasn't been answered is fucking John Brooks. No one will give us an answer.
Here's another one that's never been answered.
A real answer. The fuck is VIX? Isn't that some station?
It's a streaming platform, yeah.
Streaming platform.
There were a number of games that were only available on VIX, and we're just sitting there going like, I'm not gonna be able to fucking watch this because I'm not gonna pay for this. I don't know what the fuck it is.
Yeah, I'm not paying for VIX. VIX can suck dicks. I'm not paying for it.
He responded because somebody else responded to me. He goes, I gotta buy yet another one. Fuck.
Isn't it on other channels though? It's not just on VIX.
I don't know what's on VIX, if anything's on VIX at this point. I'm thinking maybe one of the options, but I know upcoming game is on
Peacock.
Peacock, yes.
I think it's Peacock.
I've got a nephew has a game in Avon that'll be cutting into that game. I'm like, I'm gonna have to catch it on replay.
Is it on NBC Standard as well as Peacock? I mean, if it isn't, we're getting to the point now where we're making it hard to watch the U.S. men's national team play. I think that sucks, even if it's friendlies. Honestly.
Where to watch? It's on TNT, Telemundo, Universal.
Yeah, most people get TNT.
FTP, whatever the fuck FTP.
Yeah, most people get TNT.
But it's on Peacock and TNT. I don't TNT because I don't have
TNT's like standard cable.
I don't got cable, bitch.
Well, that's not Ted Turner's problem.
No, it's not. I'll watch on Peacock because I pay for Peacock.
Actually, yeah, it is his problem because nobody watches TNT except for
unless you want to watch the same 3 fucking movies in all of the NBA playoffs.
Yeah, you got Chuck and Shaq and whoever the white dude is. I can't remember his name. Ernie.
Just white guy won.
Ernie, and there's one more. Guy that played at Houston back in the day. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. So that's the other show.
I don't follow Derek. I know Shaq. So
Shaquille O'Neal.
I know.
All right. Shaq. I don't know. What do you have to add to this, Brett? I mean, listen, am I just wasting my time talking about John Brooks anymore? Should we just cancel talking about John Brooks anymore on the show?
Yes.
Because it seems like the mainstream media just doesn't give a fuck.
From the inside information we have, I don't see it getting rectified. Now, the big question is it just a Berhalter situation or is it a team-wide situation? I don't know how deep a rift might be going forward.
Well,
it might not necessarily be just a Berhalter, I'm still pissed about that incident over in Honduras.
Well, 29 told us that one of the things Greg didn't like is that the players seem to have more respect and listen to John Brooks more than they listen to him. I don't know if that's true. I'm sure him being a veteran and a former player in the World Cup brought him some amount of respect. But
wasn't it the reason why we brought Yedlin?
But Yedlin's a cocksucker. He's not he's a yes man. That's not. I mean, I shouldn't have called him a cocksucker. He's like a nipple sucker. He's not that bad. But he does do what Berhalter asks him, play the role Berhalter asks him, whereas John Brooks is more sandpaper, right? It's a little more sandpaper on that one. So you don't want it rubbing up against your body too much. All right. You got sandpaper rubbing against your body, or you have Yedlin sucking your nipples. What's your choice?
None of the above. That's an option, right?
But for Berhalter,
I could just say a pass.
Yes, you're not the coach of the U.S. men's national team, though.
That's true, nah.
And those are the standards they have to live by. A rash or a little nipple sucking.
Either a little nipple sucking or some sandpaper rubbing on your balls.
Oh, I didn't say the balls, but
I just assumed you did. Sorry.
No, I didn't. Yeah. No. Oh, yeah, that's bad. All right, we're removing.
I wanted to bring us before we get to the actual U.S. starting 11 topic. Yep. I wanted to bring us to a topic that has lit the Twitter sphere or the X sphere on fire for the last 48 hours.
Oh, give me a break!
Just adding fuel to the fire, lighting the fire, and then just sitting back. That's what it's been like the last 2 days. And I'm sitting here going like,
it's just like,
why?
This is a thing? Anyone cares about this? Seriously?
You'd be surprised. Apparently, a lot of people care about this.
Okay.
So let's listen. I think it's like in the first 20 seconds. And let's talk about it, Derek.
Okay.
Growing up in the United States, we've always viewed St. Louis as the soccer capital of the United States. A huge tradition with the club structure and the players it's produced. And it's not.
I don't think we necessarily need to go any further than that right there.
Right. I was whistling Sanford and Son behind it so we don't get cock blocked. No, we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Nope. We're 11 seconds in, plus we're not monetized.
Right. Okay, cool.
So, Derek. I've made my voice known on Twitter about this. I've even commented and quoted Pack and Pete both on the topic. And I've kind of broken recorded all over, spammed it all over the place. But I want to hear your take on it. He says, growing up in the United States, we've always, assumed? What does it say? Does it appear? Hold We've always viewed St. Louis as the soccer capital of the United States.
He and his wife?
Yeah, probably.
Because I don't know who we is. Who's we?
Well, that's the big question, though, isn't it? Because I think it even goes back further than that in the sins. Growing up in the United States.
Yeah.
Then he says, we've always viewed. I guess my question is because even
who's we?
Yeah. But yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I'm look. My take on this matter is that this is him reaching back to how when he was growing up in New Jersey, how he thought of St. Louis at the time, and how he always considered it as more or less the soccer capital of the United States. Growing up in Indiana, I even not necessarily the soccer capital, because I mean, I'm like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Mm-hmm.
But as far as being a hotbed that produces talent, absolutely. It was one of the major sectors growing up in the 80s and 90s, as far as talent was concerned.
It's all true.
It's a huge amount of history. I think people are making this is where people are making a mountain out of a molehill when he talks about the soccer capital of the United States. Now, before I go on to another topic of that, why I think they're making a big deal of it, I want to hear what you have to say about it.
So, I'm more concerned about Gregg's sentence structure here than I am, and the use of the word we.
You English major, you.
Yeah, I'm just saying that's an odd thing to say.
Ambiguous, isn't it?
It's like saying we and who. Who the fuck else are you talking about? Because most people would say this. Growing up in the United States, I've always viewed St. Louis. That's an opinion, right? But when you include a bunch of fucking imaginary motherfuckers in the goddamn statement, now people are like, who the fuck is we, motherfucker? Because I ain't part of your we, number one. And number two, are you talking about you and your fucking two balls in your nutsack? Who are you fucking talking about? Yeah. I don't know who uses words like that to have an opinion. Most people with an opinion use the word I've always viewed St. Louis, not we've, unless he's talking about his wife and his nutsack. That outside of that, I don't know who we
Well,
is.
and again, looking at the growing up in the United States, I'm taking this as him saying, him pulling from his experience as a youth and what they considered at that time, the weave. Now, it is very ambiguous. It doesn't necessarily describe anything. It doesn't talk about whether or not it's talking about 1-year-olds all the way to 99-year-olds have this opinion. And even then, take into consideration back in his day when he was growing up and playing throughout the 80s and so forth. Just because you might have that opinion of St. Louis and at that point over in New Jersey, people in California are probably going like, I have no idea how St. Louis is doing here.
Exactly.
Who fucking cares?
This is the kind of thing a sociopath says. They include a bunch of fucking people that they don't know, that don't exist maybe even, and make their argument important by saying we, that is the collective we, me, Gregg, my 2 testicles, and my wife all believe this, including a lot of people I can't see. I've never heard their opinion about this, but I'm including them too because I'm that fucking arrogant.
So it's ultimately, this is what I was going to lead into a lot of reasoning for some people to be throwing a fit about this, about the whole soccer capital aspect, and it is praising a new MLS side, a new MLS stadium, and where'd it go?
That's fine.
Please praise our new soccer stadium since we lost our NFL. And yes, this growing up, we always considered St. Louis as being a soccer capital of the world. St. Louis has a history of development as a whole. And as like I said, it's one of the things I've noticed when I was young.
Yeah.
But this sounds just like fluff to give to reporters. It doesn't necessarily mean a goddamn thing. And
it doesn't.
Blew up for 2 fucking days talking about where the actual soccer capital in the United States is. Capital, people.
There is no capital.
The fucking thing in the world to be bitching about. This is just a fluff piece to placate a bunch of St. Louis media people.
Exactly,
Come
Brett.
on.
I am not, like I said, I am less concerned that he's basically sucking a bunch of local fucking St. Louis cock. That's fine. I expect him to do that. So that's why this is fluff. What is more concerning to me is his use of the word weave. That's a sociopathic use of the word weave.
It's him creating a simple statement that he lumped a bunch of people into. Could have been of the past, could be of the present. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean a goddamn thing.
Isn't this motherfucker have his own opinion that he can just say, I've always viewed? Well, I just don't, Brett, this is a symptom of a person who thinks incorrectly about the world and his place. Like he's trying too fucking hard is the problem here. And I don't like that. And I know I'm getting really nitpicky about this, but we've heard this when Gregg speaks on so many other issues and so many other things. There's so many assumptions he makes about how intelligent the audience is that he's speaking to, what he can and cannot get away with. He usually thinks he can get away with a lot because, I don't know, he thinks he's really fucking smarter than everybody else, but he's not. So I'm putting this is another one like, hey, we outplayed Canada. I'm putting this in my pocket, right? I'm going to remember him saying this in phrasing it in a way that made
we dominated the game.
That made an individual turn into a we. That's just, you don't do that. That's not how life works.
No, and I don't think he thought too much of it. I think he literally just had an idea of something he wanted to say about it. Like, again, channeling a thought process back in the day of his youth development, and then just making it a factual statement. Factual in his mind, a factual statement.
Well, factual would have been I've, because then it would have just been an opinion.
But maybe what he's alluding to is that everybody around him thought the same thing, though.
Bullshit, they did. Because
again,
I guarantee
it's all about placating who's around him at this point.
Gio Reyna and a lot of other motherfuckers growing up out on the coast would disagree with that. On the East Coast would definitely disagree that St. Louis was in.
He grew up on the East Coast.
New Jersey had tons of players coming out of it at that time. So he's wrong, even if he's talking about his own time growing up. Listen, there were a lot more.
Hey, there are a lot of players coming out of California. I mean, it's
California, New York, New Jersey, 100%. More than St. Louis at the time.
That's why the topic of the soccer capital is the dumb part of this whole thing.
No, the dumb part's the weave. If he said I would be like, that's just his fucking opinion. Who cares?
It doesn't matter about, in my opinion, it doesn't matter about the we even in this point, because it is something he's literally just softballing to the media at this point. To try to filler, hey, I'm stroking your cock. You know, that's all it is. It is a giant nothing burger,
Brett,
of a statement.
It does make a difference, because saying I've always viewed St. Louis as the soccer capital of the United States is fine for him to have that opinion. There's nothing wrong with that opinion. But to lump all the rest of us in with it, as if all of us believe that, is a stupid, arrogant thing to say. That's my point. That's the problem I have with this. Not that he loves St. Louis.
He might not have been lumping you into this, though, is that thing. Because you weren't growing up around him.
Okay. I did grow up in the United States. He's barely we're about the same age, dude.
Derek, were you in New Jersey playing alongside him?
No. Again,
it depends on how you take this. I think he's drawing from past experiences and making a quote-unquote factual statement about something. I don't think he's saying, we as the United States believe that St. Louis is the capital of the United States of America when it comes to soccer. I don't think that's the case.
It's not factual.
I think he's stroking the cocks of St. Louis at this point.
Certainly not factual, though.
No, that's why he added the air quotes.
I didn't see it. I was pouring myself.
Well, I mean, I did a bunch of this, so maybe you didn't see it because I'm just.
No, I was pouring myself a new glass. Sorry.
Oh, okay, fair enough. I've done it like 3 times though. Yeah, 3 times, right? No.
All right. That's enough of Gregg.
Yeah, it's enough of Gregg in this situation. It's enough of this argument.
And I'm sorry to dig so much into the sentence language of the sentence, but I mean, Jenny Cush and I are hanging out tonight, and I tend to get a little more detail oriented when that happens.
Fair enough.
No, I do. I get in the weeds.
That's why I said fair enough.
I do. I'm sorry about that.
I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you.
Not to you, Brett. I mean, you have to put up with
focus on what I'm saying now, Derek. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying fair enough.
All right, what else we got? Well, the main topic of the show.
Main topic of the show, Derek. That's, of course. Why wouldn't we talk about the actual topics too?
I mean, should there be a song to intro this?
Sure, why not?
This is the main topic of the show. This is the main topic of the show. If you don't enjoy it, hey man, take a blow. All right, here we go. It's the main topic.
Your creativity does flow out of your loins when you smoke, Derek, just so you know.
And when I say take a blow, I don't mean like blow your nose or blow somebody or sniff some blow. I don't know what I mean. I'm being ambiguous there. You figure it out.
You might as well throw in "we" in there somewhere.
I almost did, but you know what? I'm just not arrogant enough to do it. So, all right. God, this is a weird show. It's been a while since I've been baked.
U.S. men's national team takes on Twitter, I think, posted arguably the best that we can throw out in this next match.
Okay.
The big question is, do you think Berhalter is going to come out his first match as the manager this cycle with his best 11?
Yes.
Or do you think he's going to play some of the first-timers?
No, it's all let's go for the – he's going straight for the clitoris. There is no waiting around. This is all action, straight up, right now. Let's get hot and heavy. I want to win. I want to show people I'm back, but it ain't going to be this. This is not the formation.
You don't think he's going to do a 4-2-3-1?
No.
Interesting.
Nope. He's too stubborn. We're back to the 4-3-3. I like the lineup. I like everybody.
So you're gonna have Musa sitting in the Adams role.
Yes, and Tillman will probably start on the might even be Aronson starting to Musa's left and Mckennie on his right, or flip flop them depending on the lineup of the other team, depending on what Gregg wants to do. But usually Mckennie would play left of Musa, if I remember correctly.
So I mean, I'm trying to think who our wing options are.
Well, Pulisic and Way are starting.
No. That's not my concern. Because you mentioned Aronson as an option over Tillman. And I'm trying to think who we have in the lineup that would replace Pulisic or Weah as a sub. If Aronson is starting in the middle.
Tillman
out wide.
Yes.
Or you're saying Tillman comes in and Aronson pushes out wide.
No, I think Tillman's out of the starting lineup, and Aronson will be a starter in the 4-3-3 with Musa and Mckennie in the midfield.
So Aronson take the roster for what it is, and I know it's USSF that posted, and I know that Gregg just gives labels and shit, but he does have Aronson listed as a winger, I believe, and he has Tillman listed as a midfielder.
Yeah, but he's had Aronson listed as a winger before and used him in the midfield. I think Aronson plays mid. Who else are you going to play at mid? Luca De La Torre. You could do that.
Luca De La Torre could be an option. That might be an option with Mckennie and Musa.
But, I mean, it's very possible you could do Luca De La Torre, but for me, based on what I know about Gregg and how he feels about Aronson, I think it's a Musa, Mckennie, Aronson midfield. By the way, erase this formation, so we're playing a 4-3-3 because it's fucking Gregg. It's fucking Gregg. That's why we're playing a 4-3-3, right? This is a perfectly fantastic lineup and a perfectly fantastic setup. If I am wrong, I will be like loving it. I will be in heaven if fucking Berhalter plays a 4-2-3-1. I will praise him. I'll say that. I will praise Gregg live on the show next time we have a show. If this is the formation we use, and if this is the starting lineup he uses, I will praise him. I will offer to fly out to wherever he is and snuggle his balls until he falls asleep the next day or that night. I will do it. But this is just too good to be true. You know it too, Brett. You know it too. We're going to end up playing a 4-3-3, not a 4-2-3-1, because it would be too awesome to have Tillman playing as a center attacking midfielder. It would be too amazing for that to be the case.
It could be a 4-2-3-1 with just Mckennie in a more advanced role. I guess it'd still be kind of a 4-3-3 in that sense. And Tillman having less defensive responsibilities, Mckennie having more defensive responsibilities.
Well, you push Mckennie up now, you're playing a 4-1-4-1.
I think we're splitting hairs. Derek, I'm gonna pull my Jimmy Conrad card here and say
No.
I think you're paying too much attention to formation there.
No, Jimmy's recanted that. Remember? He came on our show and he said, Brett, Derek, yeah, sorry about that. You guys were right about formations. They are.
Yeah, I think when we're talking about McKennie playing a little more advanced than Musa and Tillman having less defensive responsibilities, I think instead of saying a 4-3-3 and going to a 4-1-4-1, I think that's kind of splitting hairs.
It really isn't.
It's going to be a 4-3-3, and you just have more offensive minded and you have more defensive minded 8.
Now, what you do here when you have Musa, McKennie, and Tillman, yes, when you have easy possession, Musa is the fallback guy to come pick up the possession, and you want McKennie and Tillman to be bouncing around looking for free space for the next ball, right? Fucking Messi's playing right now. What
I told you this.
You did, but I didn't believe it. I thought you were joking. What a dick. He's playing during our show.
I mean, if it's not Herc and Football Americas or Tact running in sideline or 29.
That happened
sidelining
once.
Us.
29.
I mean, this is bullshit. You didn't tell Argentina to, hey, put that shit out. Not on Thursdays and Mondays.
Yeah. Hey, S27, thank you for the $1.99, man. I really appreciate that. And the news that our show is being basically held hostage by Messi playing an international game.
And you know all the fucking A-list celebrities are watching it, despite the fact that Pulisic said, hey, watch our show.
Yep.
Actually, he said he doesn't like our show.
Yeah, he's not a fan. That's all he said. He said he's not a fan. You know what?
Maybe we need to get Selena Gomez on our show.
I bet you if Pulisic did watch the show, he would giggle himself until he peed his pants.
Until you start bringing up the fact that he's a virgin.
But he knows
maybe he doesn't find that offensive, though.
He might not.
Maybe
and I never say it. I never say it in an offensive way, do I? I always say that's his decision, and I respect it. All right? And then
what if he assumes that you mean that he takes it up the ass?
No, I had a message from one of his buddies, his good buddies, who sent me a serious message and said, hey, dude, the dude is not a virgin. Why don't you let it go? And I'm like, dude, I'm just busting his balls. But I still think he's a virgin. He's like, man, come on. You got to quit that shit. I just said,
this isn't C. Pulisic's #1 fan on Twitter, right?
No, I don't know who this guy is. It's an account that I've never seen before. I don't know who he is. It's Pulisic. It's a private message. I don't know who the fuck it is, but it doesn't matter.
It's an actual account. So true.
I thought I told you about this.
Probably did.
Okay.
I've slept and drank since then. Come on.
I thought I told you about this guy. Anyhow, yeah, he's been badgering me to let up on Pulisic and stop making virgin jokes. And I just told him, dude, I'm just kidding around, number one. If he is actually that, then I would support him if that's what he wants to do. I've never said anything bad about him. But he's like, dude, you got to drop it. You got to let it go. Fuck it. I'm not going to let it go.
So, yeah. Jumping back to this lineup.
Jumping back down.
In the formation. Do you see anything wrong with it?
I don't.
So
I don't. I think it's a great lineup.
This should be our lineup. Under Hudson or BJ, I think this would be our lineup. The only adjustment I would see under Berhalter, and he is a beast of habit, is removing Tillman and adding Luca De La Torre.
And having 3 in the midfield.
Having the 4-1-2-3, if you will.
Ideally, or a 4-3-3, yeah.
Well, no, that's my point. I'm describing the 4-3.
Right. Because you're making the 6 rest in front of the back 4 and have the 8s.
No double pivot.
Right.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying there.
So this would absolutely be a Hudson and BJ lineup. If Gregg does tinker with it, I think that's the tinkering he'll make. Because even adding Aronson, I mean, that's having him as the 8. He doesn't really excel at that point because he's got to do a lot of checking back. There's a lot of defensive play. With Aronson, you want him to be predominantly up there in the attack.
Dude, I got to tell you.
It doesn't get necessarily knocked around so much.
If your fucking hairy, stinky, sweaty balls got dumped in a fucking pile of horse shit and then dragged through a fucking a red fire ant nest, pick this, I would praise it. I would praise your nutsack with all the shit on it and all the ants biting it. Because this is a great lineup. Whoever made this did the right thing. The question is, if this guy can do it, and it's not that hard to do, can Gregg do it?
Maybe this is BJ's alt account.
If Gregg can, for just a second, put his ego aside, this is the starting lineup right here. This is it. Just do it. Just do it. Please do it.
Just do it.
Do it.
God, I wish I had that meme.
Do you feel like washing your balls now after all the things I did to them?
I feel pretty dirty at this point, so yeah, maybe.
What did I say? They were sweaty. I dumped them in. I dumped them in a pile of horse shit, and then I let fire ants go at them. Listen,
do fire ants dig horse shit?
I don't know, but
that's why I said honey. I thought you meant honey.
I don't know. I don't know if ants eat shit. I don't think they do. I
BJ's
think that might be
for sure.
Is that? Oh, it could be. Could be.
Yeah. BJ's up here posting all these hot takes that some of them come right and some of them don't because he can't be outed, right? You can't just say all that because then Berhalter's gonna be like, you motherfucker. Your U.S. men's national team takes. I knew it.
Listen, I think what's the guy before him? Fuck it. Starts with an H.
Hudson.
I think Hudson and BJ did a very subtle but great job of saying, here's what else is possible. Right?
Hey, you know what else is possible is the 3-4-3 or the 3-5-2 or whatever the fuck.
Nah, I don't want to do
three back line is what he said.
By
next World Cup, we'll have practiced a 3 back line.
I don't want to do that.
Well, you're going to suck it up, Derek, and we'll bitch about it. But it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing we're going to talk about? Doing some shit you already did before that sucked? Can we just
we have an entire cycle to practice it, though, Derek.
Okay, but hold on. If you're talking about what makes us the best, is that we have an abundance of players in attack and midfield. It's not like we have abundant fucking players out right back and left back and an abundant of fucking amazing center backs. That's not what makes us great. The problem is we got a lot of players. Once Reyna's healthy and other players are healthy, that we got to find a way to get on the pitch. So playing 5 in the back ain't going to help dick. That doesn't mean you can get Sargent on. Doesn't mean you can get Reyna on. There are players that are not going to make. We already had this discussion about Adams. When he comes back, if we stick to 3, he's probably at midfield. He's fine. But if we play a 4-2, I don't know. I mean, somebody's got to go. McKennie's got to go, or Moose has got to go.
It depends on who. At that point, I guess it would depend on who's on fire at that point for the club.
Unless you play McKennie as a center attacking midfielder.
Then you're taking Reyna out of the equation.
Then you're taking Reyna out, right? In a 4-2-3-1. So we've already got a problem with getting our best skilled players on the pitch, and now we're going to play 5 on the back? Why the fuck would we do that? What a goddamn waste of stupid time. Unless somebody's setting up in a formation that is completely exposed by 5 or 3 in the back or 5, whatever you want to call it, then that makes sense. But I don't think we're going to play anybody that's going to do that. Not in any of the friendlies we're going to be playing recently, and certainly not in Copa, unless you're going to bunker in Copa America, which I don't think we're going to do. Anyhow, read between the lines. Wes talking about Christian. In training, he's pulling off moves I haven't seen him pull off in a long time. So just to see him have confidence again and starting off well in Milan and solidifying himself there is great. It's really exciting to be able to see that, Mckennie added. I've known him since he was 13. And the one thing about soccer that's most important is always to have fun with it, even if you're a virgin. Because once you stop having fun is whenever it gets really hard. Ooh. Okay, that's getting weird after the virgin. Woo, hard. So just to see him having fun with the game again is amazing. I'd agree. He looks a different player completely at Milan. Completely different.
So Diego's saying read between the lines. Now, straightforward, he's saying that, hey, his time at Chelsea wasn't that great. Now he's at Milan where he can flourish. That's a straightforward statement. What's between the lines, do you think, Derek?
that he has got confidence again? I mean, I don't understand. Like,
it might not have to deal with Pulisic. He might be making a statement about somebody else.
Who? Because
perhaps him.
Mckennie?
Yeah, he just had that 6-month shit fest at Leeds, and now he's back at Juve. Maybe he's talking about that.
Maybe.
Why would Diego say read between the lines? I don't think any of this has to do with Pulisic, because the straightforward is that Pulisic is at a new situation that's better for him.
Yeah, but I mean,
maybe McKinney's saying that he's not having fun at Juve now, and he's hoping to get that next step. Who knows?
I mean, for what I've seen from McKennie so far at Juve in preseason and his first start of the season, he looks great to me.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he's having fun.
That's what I'm saying. Maybe this is in reference to his time at Leeds. Maybe that's all it is.
Oh, it must be, because I think.
Why is Diego taking a shot here?
Yeah, I don't know. I'd rather not read between the lines. Because then, this becomes a
assumption. Yeah,
becomes literature 306 class or something in IU.
What is it? So taking the SAT back in the day, they had a section where you'd read this little paragraph or two, and one of the questions was, "What do you think the author meant by this?" And it stated a sentence.
Mm-hmm.
And my thought process was like, Jesus, I can answer this however the fuck I want.
No.
It's asking me for an opinion.
No.
What do I think the author is meaning? Well, I think the author was wanting to ride on a unicorn while fucking a donkey.
No.
Maybe that's what he meant by it.
That's not the SAT, because the SAT is all multiple choice. I think you're thinking.
No, it was. It was multiple choice. No, it wasn't written. So it's like,
okay.
There's a paragraph to read it. What do you think he meant by this science? And there's 4 options.
What was the other?
In theory, none of those options should be wrong.
What was the other test at the time?
ACT.
Thank you. So I scored extremely high on the ACT, and I did on the SAT. I'm out, not bad, but it didn't put me where I was in my class, right? So the ACTs was a way better test because it included social studies, the sciences, everything else. It wasn't just a goddamn English, which I was good at, and math test, which I had problems at, like, once you start getting into like complex algebra, because my algebra teachers sucked and never gave me any context for that. The ACT was a way better test. In fact, that's basically how I got into IU. So
I did average on the ACT, and I did better on the SAT.
You did better on the SAT than the? Are you a math guy? Okay, well that explains it. I didn't become a math guy.
I was able to tell them officially what 2 + 2 was. That's half the math right there.
Yeah, I didn't become a math guy until I got to college for weird things that happened. But anyhow, placata. That's why Brett went to community college. Oh, come on.
I went to IU. If I was smart, I would have gone to community college, because then I could have eaten away my first 2 years on shit yearly cost.
Exactly. It's
I ate
ridiculous.
I ate a 4-year scholarship at IU. I could have taken a 2 at Ivy Tech and then did my final 2 at IU. Let me
put it this way to all of you out there today, considering going to a major college and fucking taking loans and going into goddamn debt. Go to a fucking community college. I can tell you, as an employer, a past employer at organizations, doing many interviews, I didn't give a fuck what college degree you had, as long as you had a college degree and you had the right skills. I didn't give a fuck if you went to goddamn Marion University, Butler, or I didn't care. It just didn't matter. Did you have a degree? That's all I cared about. In some cases, I didn't even care if you had a degree. Because if I'm hiring for a sales job or an outreach job, I just want you to be good with people, and I don't care if you have a fucking college degree.
So the handful of interviews that I sat in with one of my jobs, to where I actually helped assist hire people, I did not give 2 shits if they went to college, if they have a degree. Because my thought process from a business standpoint is that, because this was just a wholesaling retail, basically, doing environmental and safety stuff.
Right.
So I didn't even care about the actual the fact that you had a degree or not, because quite frankly, this is a middling job overall.
Right.
And you're more likely to retain a guy who doesn't have a degree if you're paying well enough to keep him included, you know?
Mm-hmm.
If you go, oh, here's a guy from Harvard. He's great. He's a great candidate, but fuck, he'll be gone in 2 months.
I just want to make that clear. If I haven't, those elite colleges can suck my dick. Most of the kids that get into those colleges are getting into those colleges, especially the most elite ones, because of mommy and daddy and what they've got, which is gold money. All right. Anyhow, not to bitch too much. Are we done?
Yeah.
Is that the show?
I'm sorry, people have the 2-hour segment on the bingo cards. You're not going to get it tonight.
No, you're not. And you know what? We can't have a 2-hour show every night. There's only so much of a routine that we can have out here, folks. I am thinking we should spread the animal things out between segments. I think that would be good. Like a soccer segment, have a laugh. Soccer segment, have a laugh. Something like that, maybe. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So many people on our show would miss some of the soccer segments because they're just joining at the 20th, 25th minute.
That's true. But anyhow, thanks for all of you for coming out tonight. Not coming, for joining us tonight. I mean, if you came, that's great too. Hey, we got no problems with that. Whatever gets you through the night. If your girlfriend's there and she gave you a little side job while you're watching the show, even better. Or whomever. I don't care. Girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. As long as it's not, well, anyhow. All right. So make sure that you join us next Monday. Obviously, we'll have a game to talk about, right? Yeah, we will. Mm-hmm. And enjoy that game. Take notes. So when you're here, you're on the chat, you can give us some of your thoughts. Of course, we always monitor them, or Brett does. I don't. Because it distracts me. So anyhow, until the next time on the Straight Right Card, we love you, and say hi to your stepsister for us. Thank you.
But she's a trap. She's an unsung novel. Turn a lap and get your whole world dazzled on the line, or a phone call with or without wine.
That hurt.
I'm tuned in like crazy, and I'm pretending like I know what they're doing, and I'm
the articulate and intelligent
Gregg's a bitch.